Here is the truth about homesteading. I find that a lot of people can try to make it look very pretty online.
You don't see the dirt and the poop and the nastiness. You just get covered in all the time.
I mean, here, watch this. I'll make a 15-second little ditty for you to show how easy it is. I think we've done a great job this year, despite having the baby and the chaos of that, and then trying to figure things out. I mean, watching the transition from this spring to this fall has been incredible.
A lot of the content creators that create homesteading communities are great, but a lot of them don't show some of the not so nice parts of what makes homesteading.
See, what people talk about is the benefits of like amazing animals. You get to spend time with animals, you get to do all of these things, but what they don't talk about is the hardships, the difficult things, and the things that you have to deal with. So I want to talk about a few of those. See, recently I talked about how you just need to start. You just need to do it. You need to jump full throttle and just do it. And if you took that advice and you did that and you jumped right in, you may be feeling the burn about now and how difficult it is, especially this time of year. Things are dying off and there's a lot to harvest and you're just getting ready for fall and you may be just chaotic. And hey, maybe you've had an extremely successful year. I mean, look at all the pumpkins we grew. We feel great about all of our pumpkins and our squash that we've been able to grow, and then these birds that we're growing that are getting ready to be harvested soon. But one of the things that I was not prepared for, in large part, is how to deal with death.
Sometimes when you bring these concerns to the internet can kind of be ruthless. And a lot of these people are people that aren't even in the community. They have no idea what they're talking about. They say, oh, you must be horrible at taking care of your animals. And that's just not the case. Stuff happens. Where there is life, there is death. And death on the homestead is a natural part of everything. And it's something that we've really had to learn over the years to accept, because it's not one of the easier things. Like, sometimes when you get used to things dying and you kind of take your heart away from some of the animals that you know are going to be on the dinner table at the end of it, it makes things a little bit easier. But we recently had a duck, one of my little pecans that I quite liked, and well, he turned out to be male when we thought he was female. And unfortunately, when you're in the animal kingdom, a lot of male animals, especially farm animals, are just not desirable. It's just another mouth to feed. It's expensive. So you do what you gotta do. And on Meat Bird Day, he got processed with a lot of them, and that one hurt.
Now listen, if you're an old hat at this, if you've been homesteading for a while, you'll know this, or even farming for a bit. You'll know that where there is life or where there is livestock, there's going to be dead stock. And I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared for a raccoon to break into my coop and just wipe out all my animals. It was just so draining. I was not prepared for little chicks to get sick and having to cull them off, or having issues with roosters picking on each other and having to cull roosters and not being able to give them away because nobody wants roosters. So coming to grips with mortality has kind of been the hardest thing and biggest thing, the most emotional thing that we've really had to deal with. After you've been able to conquer your mortality and you realize, like this pumpkin patch here, that things are gonna die. Chickens are gonna die, you're gonna lose animals, and yes, it will suck every time. Every chicken day, it wrenches my heart. Other than that, it's a lot of work, like a lot of work, and it can be kind of as little or as much work as you want it to be, but we planted quite a big garden this year, and we've been doing a lot of work to get it to that point, and it's taken a lot of time and a number of years to get to be able to harvest as much as we have. And you may look at our garden shed in here and think, well, Ben, didn't you guys like harvest a lot of stuff? You've got squashes, you've got pumpkins, you've got a ton of stuff, but this isn't even close to being able to feed our family for the winter. I mean, we might be able to eat zucchini alone, because these zucchini, they keep coming. I don't know how these plants continue to grow and produce food, but they won't stop. The plants are dead. There's no plants left, but they're still producing zucchini. But yeah, like we have produced a lot of things. We got a decent number of tomatoes, mostly green tomatoes, unfortunately. We were able to harvest a ton of herbs that we've been growing in here now. What else? Our squashes, our pumpkins, and even yesterday we spent a lot of time harvesting all of our corn.
A lot of the content creators that create homesteading communities are great, but a lot of them don't show some of the not so nice parts of what makes homesteading. Oh, I'm taking care of the goats and the chickens and stuff, but they don't show a lot of what happens to some of these chickens. They don't show the whole process of caring for meat birds.
Come on, buddy. I know you're hungry.
I need to go wash my hands.
So we flip that over. And then to get this size garden, we planted a lot. We invested a lot of money in seeds. When you've got that amount of time and money and effort invested in something, you gotta keep going. You don't really have an option to stop. I can't not feed these meat birds and expect them to grow. They need fed every single day. With our goats, same thing. They need milked every single day. It's a lot of work. So either if we're gonna leave, we need to find a farm sitter, or we need to be here. We can't leave. We don't have that luxury and we don't have that option.
It's all a learning curve and a learning process, and even the most oldest farmer that has been doing this forever, they still lose animals, or they still go through these kind of gruesome things, and it's just not talked about. So people that get into this lifestyle, and they beat themselves up over it, and it happens to everybody.
And this isn't meant in any way to try to scare you away from homesteading or doing this stuff or raising your own food or growing your own food, but it's just to tell you the truth of how hard this can be. Even right now, I've got a pile of wood that needs to be split and put in the basement, and we've been working on it, and it's just a lot. It's hard work, and that's where community comes in, like yourself and other people who've been able to help us or willing to help us has been paramount in this journey.
When you're getting into homesteading, you really have to do it for the right reasons. And at the end of the day, the right reason is love. You have to do this lifestyle because you enjoy it, because you love it. And you can't do it out of fear. I see a lot of people that don't like the government, so they're angry at the government and they want to do something about it. So the first thing they go is, I'm going to go off-grid, I'm going to homestead, I'm going to raise chickens and animals and all that. Sorry to say, if you are getting into it out of fear or anger, it's just not going to pan out. It doesn't make sense for this lifestyle. To keep it up long term, you really have to do it because of love. And you're gonna get a better end product, whether that's vegetables or animals or whatever, if you are putting love into it, as opposed to fear or anger or anything. So this is a lifestyle that you really have to go in because you love to do it.
Now, although we do this because we enjoy it, it is something that we have learned over the last couple of years that you need to love it and have a solid reason why. Because I see on so many forums and places online that people are talking about that they're just burnt out, they're done, they don't want to do this anymore. And this is a lifestyle you have to fall in love with, where you can't really take vacations, you can't leave. And not that you're being held hostage. We love this life. I mean, we're pretty introverted. We don't have a social life, and nor do we really want one, but we love it here. We love having fresh food that we're able to grow and produce all of our own food as much as we can, but also having this community of people online like yourselves.
It is hard, and at times, it doesn't feel rewarding. There's certain things that you're like, I could just go to the store and buy this. Why am I spending so much time to make this from scratch, to grow it? Like, what is the point? I could get a huge bushel of tomatoes for $10. Why even put months of time and effort and money into it? And it's because at the end of the day, it's love, and it's always love. And it's because you love what you do, and you love knowing what goes into your food, and you love feeding your family. And at the end of the day, you have to love homesteading because it's not easy. It's a lot of work. Sometimes it sucks. There's a lot of anger, frustration, tears, and you don't see often the hard times of this lifestyle. You'll see the end product of, here is my sourdough bread that I've made, how beautiful is it? But you didn't see the 20 sourdough breads that were basically a brick and could have knocked someone out because they just didn't rise. Or you see the pickles that somebody made, but you also didn't see the jars that fell and broke down the stairs and you cried about pickles, right? Or you see, oh, look at me in my pretty little dress and everything, but I don't know how people wear that kind of stuff, because you don't see the dirt and the poop and the nastiness. You just get covered in all the time, the endless laundry because everybody's filthy. I don't know what we've touched. I don't know if it's blood or poop or whatever, but it is dirty. It is a dirty lifestyle. It is worth it. But you really have to do your research before jumping right into it.